Got some updated news and information on the Fuji GFX ETERNA. My friend Xander from another camera channel has been over at Interbe in Japan, and he's taken some shots of the camera and just got a little bit more information about it, and he's very kindly said that I can show these to you. Do check out his channel. It is really cool, and he'll have more information, and he's actually been there as well. So I'm keeping this short. There are two screens on this thing. There is one on the left-hand side and one on the right-hand side, so that is a little bit interesting because we only ever saw one side of it in the renders that were shared yesterday. Additionally, on the new side, we have another record button, another frame grab button, two big doors on the side here, probably going to be for the media, potentially could be proprietary like we see in the URSA Cine 17K. There do appear, good news, to be internal NDs on this camera. We see a little dial just there, it is labeled as internal ND, and next to this we have a manual and autofocus selection button, which does imply there's going to be some autofocus capability, which sort of makes sense, you know, with the GFX stills cameras, we do have autofocus, so the fact that Fuji are going to carry that across, yeah, I can see it. On the back of the camera, the only new port that I've particularly noticed is USB-C, and we also get a good shot of the V-mount plate. Nothing particularly interesting with that, but we do have this little wire coming up, which goes to the handle. Now that seems to be giving some kind of data pass-through, because on the top of the handle, we've got start-stop record, we've got an ND control, which is cool, and then there's another little kind of control joystick nipple kind of thing for navigating menus, and a function 5 button, which may be user assignable for whatever you want to be doing with that. And there is a zoom rocker just here. Now I do wonder whether this, because it's coming off the V-mount plate at the back, will be offering image and power to some kind of screen that might be attachable just there on that hot shoe. Yet to be seen, but that would be an interesting addition for Fuji. The top has a plethora of mounting points, both 1/4-20, 3/8, some of them locking, and there's this mysterious little eject slider just there. Is that for the whole of the top plate, like you can eject the whole thing? Is it for something else? Who knows? Next to the camera, they also had this information sheet, which was in Japanese, but I've looked at the translation of it. It talks a little bit about the etymology of the name, coming from the Latin for eternal, and then it does mention that there is a power zoom in development for this camera. So now that zoom rocket is making sense, although a power zoom on a cinema camera, I mean, sure, why not? But it's an interesting choice, especially for the first lens out of the gate. Cooke have actually just announced their 65 Pancro range, which would be compatible with this. So there's another option for you just there. If you're wondering about what lenses you're going to use, you're obviously going to buy some Cookes. And finally, there's another little QR code link to a piece that DOP Masahiro Aida filmed, and that is called Upside Down. It was shot on the GFX 100 Mark II, so not on this camera, but with this sensor. And they seem to be implying that the image is equivalent or indicative of what you're going to get. So interesting they chose to include that so that people can look at this and go, yes, I like the image, I want to get that, but it's not the same camera, it's just the same sensor and the same processor. Again, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, leave them down below. It's an ongoing discussion. We don't have much more concrete information, but hopefully these images have tantalized you and given you a little bit more to go on.